Growing up, my dad always told me if I was going to do something, I should do it right. I would always work smart, not hard. And that was something that really stuck with me. And it became a driving force in a lot of things I had to do in my life, especially things I didn't want to do. School often fell in that category. Well, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a doctor or a pharmacist, something like that. But as I grew up, I realized that really just wasn't anything I was interested in, and the medical stuff kind of made me queasy. So after that, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, and it was hard because I didn't know what I wanted to do. Being happy for me is a very hard question, and I feel like we all go through life. We have those days where we're like, oh, what am I doing? Why is it like this? And I feel like being happy comes from within. It's being content overall when the good outweighs the negatives. What do I want? I want stability. I want to be able to do what I want to do, go to work, come home, and just not be up at night worrying about anything and everything. I want to be able to keep moving. Now, to really convey the message, what I'm getting across, I need to step things back a bit. When I started out in school, I was way ahead of my peers. I was reading before pre-K, and then by fourth grade, I was on a 12th grade reading level. At that point, I was swimming in AR points. But I remember I had a passion for reading at a really early age, and I had a passion for learning, and I had the mindset of, if I'm going to do something, if I'm going to learn about anything, I'll learn all about it now, and I would have to relearn it later on. I'd learn smart, not hard. And that really set things for school to be a breeze for me. I didn't really need to study, so I didn't. O me, O life, of the question of these recurring, of myself forever reproaching myself, for who more foolish than I? Now, my mom was a teacher, and me doing well in school was a big source of pride for her. And she would always get compliments from teachers saying how well I did, and I guess in some type of way I was making her look good, I guess. That really soured when I hit high school, because I wasn't Mr. A student anymore. I realized that I would get the same degree as everyone else if I got A's, B's, or C's, so I figured I'd get a little bit of all three. Mom wasn't the big fan of that, and I don't know, at the time, I guess I thought that me being there wasn't for my own benefit. Like in some weird part of my mind, I thought I was still making her look good. And I didn't really want to be in the school, so I didn't really try that hard. I would do just enough to coast by. In my head, I was working smart, not hard. Fortunately, I was very good at talking my way out of situations, especially when I was in trouble. And boy, was I in trouble. Every time I had a bad report card, my folks would say, why aren't you doing well? And I said, well, I'm sorry, I'll get all A's next time, I promise. And then the next time I'd get B's and C's, maybe an F here and there, and same time, like clockwork, would always say, oh, I'll do better next time. And there'd be shouting matches and tears and promises made just be broken next time around. But I think when I finally graduated high school was when they forgot about everything. Of eyes that vainly crave the light of the object's mean, of the struggle ever renewed, of the poor results of all, of the plotting and sordid crowds I see around me. Through some sort of fluke, typo, or serendipity, I managed to get 2 scholarships, one of them being the Dean Scholar Award here at Dartmouth. And if I wasn't so embarrassed by my actions, I would almost brag about how quickly I lost it. And it wasn't like I was doing anything outrageous. I just was hanging out with friends or just simply not going to class. I wasn't working smart like before. I was just not working at all. And at the time, I didn't realize what I was doing. The first semester, I dropped down to a 0.9 GPA. The next, I managed to raise it slightly. I was even surprised I was still able to go to school at Dartmouth at that point. Then the next semester, I raised it and got it to about a 1 point something area, but Dartmouth decided to let me take the next semester off to really decide if I needed to be here. Now, at the time, I lost all my financial aid. I had no money to pay for my school, and that was what really got my act together. I had to pay out of pocket and do actual bank loans to be able to pay for everything. The other thing that really got my act together was when my dad kind of gave up on me. Well, you should listen to your mother, son.
I just don't understand why you can't do what you need to. You only hurting yourself. You don't realize, you think you know everything, but you don't. You just don't. You're destroying your future. You need to do your work. Mark, are you going to help me out, or am I going to be back out here?
Your mother's right, son. You should listen to her. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I know. I know. Yes, ma'am. I don't know.
And when I was going through school, I was ahead of my peers, and I finished what I needed to do because I knew I didn't have the time or the money to waste, and you don't either, and you just don't understand what you're doing, and I'm just sick of this. I'm going to lie down.
So, anything you want to add, Dad, or what? What do you want me to say, son? I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you're the one doing this. I just need to let you decide what you need to do, and you'll make the decision at some point. That really hit me, like, harder than anything. Of the empty and useless years of the rest, and the rest me intertwined, the question, oh me, so sad, recurring, what good amid these, oh me, oh life? Now to this day, I really can't tell you why I didn't do what I was supposed to. I guess at the time I thought that for some crazy reason that I didn't need to do anything because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I just wasn't working at all at that point. I guess I figured since I didn't know what I wanted to do, why work towards anything? I think my main goal was to live like every day. And you know, like my job, I get to fly every day. So I'm living, man. And you know, people say, oh man, we went on that trip and we jumped in the water and we swam and we lived in that moment. We lived. But I'm flying every single day. I'm living every moment, man. What makes me happy? Coming home alive. I don't know. It's never really been something I've thought about. I guess you know, like being happy plays into goals. You know, being happy plays into goals, achieving self-accomplishments, and like doing things like cleaning up the yard or buying this house. Buying this house. That's what makes me happy. But I think achieving things and being successful. That's really what makes me happy. What do I want? I wanna come home at the end of every day. You know, with what I do, and it's so dangerous. And every time I go out, I say to myself 3 things: Lord, be my eyes, be my wings, and be my hands, and please let me come home safe for dinner. And that's all I really focus on. But at the same time, you know, you gotta take into consideration, what if you don't get what you want? But yeah, I would say coming home is really what I want. I remember realizing how close I was to getting my first degree sitting with my advisor. And I'm sitting there, she's all like, well, you do have the classes, but could you maybe do better? I feel like that would be the best course of action. You only have 9 classes really to get the degree. I don't think that would be too hard, but I believe getting a degree would be the best way to do things. But I had no money. I had no financial aid, and I was out of loans to pull out. So the first few classes, I had to pay 100% out of pocket. And I put my last cent into this 4-hour Anatomy 2 class. And it was my last ditch effort to really get my GPA back up. I had never studied so hard for a class in my entire life. And somehow I pulled out a 98. I got my GPA back up, I got my financial aid back, and I was back.
Forrest, you always got to do the best with what God gave you. I can't always be here to help you. You're going to have to figure out your destiny for yourself.
Mama said that you gotta put the past behind you before you can move forward. And I think that's what my run-in was all about. It has been the toughest battle, but one I can say I actually have some pride in. To come from the literal bottom to a 3.0 GPA is pretty solid, but it's something that's come with some knowledge. I don't have to know what I want to do for the rest of my life. I just have to work towards something. And I don't have all the answers. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to as long as I put my effort towards it. Because whatever I want, I have to earn it. I have to work hard, not smart.
This moment will just be another story someday. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being the 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, and then the whining schoolboy, with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail, unwillingly to school. If neither foe nor friend can hurt you, if you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the words you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn out tools, if neither friend nor foe can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, then yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you will be a man, my son. This moment will just be another story someday. "38. June 10th, I'll be 39. Maybe 20. Yeah, 20 years old. That's when I moved out, got my own apartment, had 2 part-time jobs, just living on my own. When I was growing up, we didn't have video games or cell phones. It was cousins, brothers, and sisters all living together. We all played together. We had more family time. I guess it was a more physical interaction. Is that what you would say? I don't know. I guess it would be when I moved out, because I had to take the initiative and not depend on others. I wanted to live my life my way. I didn't really have a major goal or drive. I just knew it was time to make a change. You know what I mean? Yeah, it would be when I moved out. I was tired of following other people's rules. I wanted to do things my way. I guess I thought I knew more than my parents did. It was a whole lot harder than I thought it would be. I had to make hamburger helper with no meat and had to eat cereal with no milk. It was definitely harder than I thought. I reckon it would be the thought that there wouldn't be someone there anymore, that I would have to make the decisions of what I needed and didn't need, like necessities. Anytime. So, I guess we are who we are for a lot of reasons. And maybe we'll never know most of them. But even if we don't, we can still choose where we go from there. We can still do things, and we can try and feel okay about them. One day, I was sitting at my desk in English class, and my crazy English teacher, who was the theater director at the time, comes up to me and asks me if I would like to participate in the play that she's putting on, which is Beauty and the Beast. Well, during this time of my life, I was beyond the point of shyness. I didn't do anything that would make me stand out or get noticed. So I tell her that I would think about it, secretly just planning on telling her no whenever I developed enough courage. Well, the next day comes along, and I'm back in my desk in this class, and my soon-to-be best friend comes up to me and he's like, "Dude, you have to be in this play." Well, as soon as he says that, my teacher is right behind him and asks if I've made a decision. So I reluctantly tell her yes, but under one condition, that I would have a small role and I wouldn't do anything to make me stand out. Well, we go to the first rehearsal and we're getting ready, and there was something about putting on another face that made me feel comfortable. So I decided to stay. Eventually, the time was upon us. Showtime. So we're all backstage getting our final touches and putting on makeup, and my soon-to-be best friend comes up to me and he's like, "Are you ready?" Well, of course, in my mind, I'm screaming at him, telling him, "No, you idiot. Like, do you realize who you're talking to?" But I just say, "Yeah." So we get our 5-minute call, and my crazy English teacher comes back up to me, and she's like, "Don't worry. You're gonna do great." Well, that one sentence must have taken a whole lot longer than I thought, because before I knew it, my 5 minutes were up, and I was being forced to the entrance. Oh, I forgot to mention, my first few minutes on stage weren't saying lines or standing there. I was dancing. Yes, dancing. As you can imagine, I was stumbling and stuttering. I couldn't calm down for the life of me. Well, my scene ends and I'm backstage and I'm furious with myself. I just cannot calm down. And I tell myself that the next time I go out there, I'm gonna kill it. Well, knowing my luck, that doesn't happen. You see, the next scene was supposed to be a blackout transition from the actor playing the Beast to me. But instead of a blackout, this is what happens. Let me tell you, I was dying laughing. I could not control myself. I probably looked like the most inexperienced kid up there. But you know what? We finished it, and I couldn't have been more happy. Because I finally figured out who I was supposed to be. It wasn't some quiet, shy kid who sat in the back of the classroom. It was a crazy, weird kid who wanted to become an actor. This moment will just be another story someday.
My father was a bad man. He was a gambler, a pool hustler, an unfaithful husband, and a coal miner who believed that anyone who crossed a picket line deserved to pay the price. But I loved that little man. He stood 5 feet 3 inches with jet black hair, thick dark eyebrows, and deep brown eyes. I loved him even after he offered me a bribe to dump my fiance so I could spend more time taking care of him after my mother died. I was 8 when I displayed what courage looked like for the first time. I was meeting a man who claimed to be my father, which was confusing because I had a dad at home. I didn't understand at the time that I was the illegitimate daughter of my family. The next time I saw my father was at Christmas when I was 10. I didn't understand what buying your love meant until I grew up a little more. At 12, I got sick for the first time. Didn't have a clue what it was or where it came from, but it was something I was going to have to deal with for the next couple of years. So tell me, how did it all start? Well, in 2009, I got real sick with mouth sores to the point where I couldn't eat or drink anything. And I was hospitalized for about a week, and they gave me different medicine. They gave me some prednisone. And, well, I went home, and it went downhill from there. I got worse, and worse. And I ended up back at the hospital again for about another week. And then they gave me different kinds of steroids. I only weighed at the time 95 pounds. And then I was down to 70. My mother really thought that was the end. And when I was on the prednisone, it cleared up. We spoke over the phone every once in a while until I was 14. His true colors were starting to reveal themselves to me, and he would always leave off with broken promises and would say things that don't hold any truth or make any sense. You do not do any more, Black Shoe, in which I have lived like a foot for 30 years, poor and white, barely daring to breathe or chew. Daddy, I have had to kill you. You died before I had time. Marble heavy, bag full of God, ghastly statue with one gray toe, big as a Frisco seal, and a head in the freakish Atlantic where it pours being green over blue and the beautiful waters off Nauset. I used to pray to recover you. Do. I was admitted into the hospital when I was 15. My 16th birthday was that Saturday, and I was stuck in Palmyra Hospital. So did you have anything scheduled? Well, my doctor went on ahead and scheduled me a colonoscopy, and when they did that, I got so sick I had to go to the ER. So they just went on ahead and did the colonoscopy while I was there, and just got done instead. They diagnosed it as colitis, just regular colitis. And they gave me a bunch of medicines and stuff for it, but never told me what it was, just that I had it. You know, I never even heard of the word. The next time I had spoken to my father, I was 16, and it was not even a week after my first hospital visit. I called because I needed some medical information, and the only thing I ever remember from our conversations was him saying, "Your mother is the reason I don't get to see you. Her and her husband have kept you from seeing me, and ever since your mother took you away from Cincinnati when you were 2, she has neglected to let me speak with you. And now I'm on the phone trying to have a peaceful conversation with my daughter, and all you want to do is throw in my face how you're better off." I could hardly speak. I of German was you, and the language obscene an engine shuffling me like a Jew. A Jew to Dachau, Auschwitz, Belsen. I began to talk like a Jew. I may well be a Jew. The snows of Tyrol, the clear beer of Vienna are not very pure or true. And with my gypsy ancestress and weird luck and my tyrant pack, I may be a bit of a Jew. We didn't even talk about medical issues that day. Because it is the same conversation with him always. He had a way of taking what you said and turning it around so it sounded like you were at fault. I have always been scared of you, with your Luftwaffe and your gobbledygook, and your neat mustache and your Aryan eye bright blue. Panzerman, oh you, not God, but a swastika, so black no sky could squeak through. Every woman adores a fascist, a boot in the face of a brute heart of a brute like you. So I had to work up the courage to tell him, I'm sorry. I don't want anything to do with you. That was 5 years ago. Since I last spoke with him, a week of my birthday. And even today, I still don't know which part of my illness comes from, which part of my family my illness comes from. I wanted to know so badly, but I had to let it go because it didn't matter anymore. I remember my dad, my stepdad, sitting in the room with me during my last hospital visit in 2014, bawling his eyes with me, and he told me, Court, I'm so proud of you. You are a lot stronger than you think you are. If I hadn't met your mother, I didn't know that it was all part of God's plan for me to be in your life, to help you grow into the young lady you are today. Oh, Daddy, if you could only see, if there's been a fool around, it's got to be me. Yes, it's got to be me. Why are you right when I'm so wrong? I'm so weak, but you're so strong. Everything you do is just alright. And I can't walk away from you, Daddy, if I tried. When we first started in January, our first assignment was to write down 3 things that we had unfinished business with. Mine was with my real dad, or biological father, I'm called real dad. And so we started with those subjects, and then we began to construct things that had certain symbols in them, like strength, courage, stuff that disease, stuff that goes on like that, and that's where we got our prose. We have poetry, our own personal narratives, and our ethnography. I think that's how I said it. Yeah, ethnography, whatever. I hate that word. I always get it wrong. Where we either did an observation of something or we did an interview, and I think most of us just did our interviews because that was the easiest to put together.
Yeah, it was very interesting, like Matt said, is composing a piece because it was like all three of our first times actually putting together everything from either memorable times in our lives or just right in the moment times. And it was really cool putting it all together.
So a question, if you sat and were being interviewed, 2 questions. One, were you always the same, being interviewed by the same person? Because a lot of you, especially like Matt, it seemed like you were one time being interviewed and then there was the flyer. So can you tell me, when you were sitting and talking to somebody, can you tell me whom you were talking to? And if it was different for the more than one you did? Was it,
Well, we interviewed people who were sort of similar to our subject.
Okay.
I interviewed my friend Becky, who has colitis.
Okay, so
I have Crohn's disease.
Okay, so that was, you weren't you were Becky.
Yes.
Okay, no, okay.
And then I was 2 of my friends, and then the first
Okay.
one, yeah, was going through school, the other one just finished up and got his career started.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was my stepfather, just talking about,
So, any more questions? No.
Thank you all so much for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just where do you all go next?
Well, I'm graduating. I graduate next week, and I'm moving to Savannah next Friday.
Okay.
I'm going to Armstrong. Yep.
I'm trying to get into the ultrasound program, so that was like the whole thing, trying to like get my GPA up and to do that. So that's my hopes.
I graduate next semester, and I'm probably going to go to GSW.
Hope it'll be soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much.